Here we have a SAT math question. Here we have a table of values for x and y. So the table above shows three values of x and their corresponding y values for a linear relationship between x and y. The x-intercept of the line occurs when x equals to -5. The number m is a negative constant and n is a constant. What is the value of m times n? Okay, here we have three values for x in the table and their corresponding y values over here, and the relationship between x and y is linear. So that is, if I sketch a graph for the table of values over here, I'll be getting a line. And also the x-intercept of the line is given, that is the x-intercept of the line occurs when x equals to -5. So that is the x-intercept is -5, 0. That is always the y coordinate of the x-intercept is 0. Since the information says x-intercept occurs at x equals -5, we can consider this -5 as x coordinate of the x-intercept. Okay, when I go over the table, when x equals to -5, we have y equals to 6n positive 2m. According to the information, when x equals to -5, y must be 0 because we have x-intercept at x equals to -5. So that means when x equals to -5, the value we have for y over here, that is 6n positive 2m, must be 0. Let me write over here. Okay, now our aim is to find the values of the two constants m and n. Once we get the values of these two constants m and n, we can multiply them and we can get the product m times n. Okay, for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for one of the constants in this equation. So either we can solve for n in terms of m or we can solve for m in terms of n. Okay, now let me solve for m in terms of n over here. So for that I subtract 6n from both sides. When I do so, this positive 6n, negative 6n will cancel. I'm getting 2m equals to -6n. Okay, now let me divide both sides by 2. When I do so, this 2 will cancel. 2 goes into 2 one times, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So I'm getting m equals to -3n. Okay, I have solved for m in terms of n. So once I get the value of n, I can plug in the value of n over here and I can get the value of m. And one more thing we can notice, m is a negative constant. That is, if m is a negative constant, then this n has to be a positive constant because already we have negative value over here, -3. So only if n is positive, when this positive is multiplied by -3, I'll be getting the negative value for m. So n must be a positive constant. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope of the line using the 3 points we have in the table. So usually when I know the 2 points on the line, I can use a formula to get the slope of the line. So let me take the first 2 points from the table. So the first point is -8, m positive 4, and the second point is -5, instead of 6n positive m, we can take 0 because we know that at x equals 95, we have x-intercept, that is y coordinate is 0. So we can consider this is x1, y1, and the second point as x2, y2. Okay, now let's use the slope formula when we know the 2 points on the line, that is y2 negative y1 over x2 negative x1. So now we can plug in the values for y2, y1, x2, x1. y2 is 0, negative. The value of y1 is m positive 4. Over x2 is -5, negative. The value of x1 is -8. So we can distribute this negative sign to this m and positive 4. When I do so, I'm getting -m, -4 over -5. Negative times negative will become positive 8. Okay, then finally I'm getting -m, -4 over, when I combine -5 and positive 8, I'm just getting 3. Now I got the slope of the line using the first 2 points over here. Okay, again, I'm going to find the slope of the same line using the second point and third point in the table. So for that, let me write the second point and third point over here. So the second point is -5, 0, and the third point is 4, -m, 10. So the same thing, we can take this one as x1, y1 and x2, y2. So the slope is equal to, again, we have to use the same formula, that is y2 negative y1 over x2 negative x1. So y2 is 10, y1 is 0, and x2 is 4, -m, negative x1 is -5. Then I'm getting 10 over 4, -m. Negative times negative will become positive 5. So then slope is equal to 10 over, we can combine this 4, positive 4 and positive 5. I'm getting 9, -m. Okay, I got the slope of the line in 2 different ways. That is using the first 2 points and using the next 2 points. Anyways, so the slope of a line cannot be different at different points. Always it is constant, whether we use the first 2 points or next 2 points. So the slope we are getting for the line must be same. So whatever slope I'm getting using the first 2 points and the slope I'm getting using the next 2 points must be equal. So we can equate these two slopes, and I can solve for m. Okay, let me do that over here. So that is negative m, negative 4 over 3. So this is the slope I'm getting using the first 2 points. It must be equal to the slope that I got it using the next 2 points. That is 10 over 9 negative m. Okay, now to solve for m in this equation, we can do cross multiplication. That is, the numerator over here has to be multiplied by this denominator, and this numerator has to be multiplied by this denominator. Then I'm getting negative m, negative 4 times 9 negative m equals to 3 times 10. Now we can multiply these two binomials using the FOIL method. That is, we can multiply the first terms over here. Negative m times 9 will be negative 9m. Now we can multiply the outer terms. Negative m times negative m will become positive m square. Now we can multiply the inner terms. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. Now we can multiply the last terms. Negative 4 times negative m will be positive 4m equals to 30. Now we can write the terms in order. So we can write m square at first. We can combine this negative 9m and positive 4m. So then I'm getting negative 5m, negative 36 equals to 30. So here we have a quadratic equation. Let's write this quadratic equation standard form, that is a in the form ax square positive bx positive c equals to 0, so that we can solve it easily. So for that we have to make the right side 0. So for that we have to get rid of this positive 30. So for that I am subtracting 30 from both sides. When I do so, this positive 30 negative 30 will cancel out. I am getting m square negative 5m negative 66 equals to 0. Okay, I think this quadratic equation can be solved by factoring. For that, we have to multiply this constant of negative 66 by the coefficient of m square, that is 1. So 1 times negative 66 is just negative 66. Now I have to get two factors for negative 66, so that the product of the two factors equals to negative 66, and the sum of the two factors equals to the coefficient of m, that is negative 5. I think negative 11 and positive 6 will work. So because when I multiply negative 11 and positive 6, I'm getting negative 66. When I add them, I'm getting negative 5, which is a coefficient of m. And also I have to divide both these factors by the coefficient of m square, that is 1. Even if I divide negative 11 and positive 6 by 1, still I'm getting negative 11 and positive 6. Now to get two values for m in this quadratic equation, I have to change the sign of these two factors. So already it's negative. If I change the sign of this factor, I'm getting m equals to positive 11. And now to get the second value of m, I have to change the sign of this factor. It's already positive. If I change the sign, it will become negative. So I'm getting two values for m. One is m equals to positive 11 and other one is m equals to negative 6. But the information we have in the question says m is a negative constant. Since m is a negative constant, we can reject the positive value of m. That is, m equals to 11 can be rejected because it's positive. So we can consider the negative value of m, that is m equals to negative 6. Okay, now what we can do is we can plug in this value of m, negative 6, into this equation to solve for n. Okay, now let me continue over here. So then negative 6 equals to negative 3n. Now to solve for n, divide both sides by negative 3. Then this negative 3 will cancel out, and this negative will cancel. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I'm getting n is equal to 2. Okay, now I got the value of m and I got the value of n. Okay, our aim is to find the value of m times n according to the question. So m times n is equal to, so the value of m is negative 6 and the value of n is 2. So negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. So the product of m and n equals to negative 12. We find this negative 12 in answer choice D. So the correct answer choice for this question is D, negative 12.